Ever since I was a kindergartner, I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. I am the oldest of five kids, and I was the big sister who was always playing school and teaching my younger brothers and sisters something. I loved school, and I was always practicing being a teacher. Well, eventually, I grew up and I had to make a choice for what I wanted to do for a job. And I ended up living out my dream being a teacher. My favorite class that I got to teach was STEM for all of the kids in my school. There are so many different kinds of teachers out there, especially those who teach STEM topics. What do they actually do in this type of job? Find out what STEM career I am describing in this episode of the STEM Career Quest. Have you ever found yourself asking this question, what do I want to be when I grow up? Maybe you already have an answer to that. Maybe you don't. Both are okay. Welcome to the STEM Career Quest podcast, a show made for kids like you to help you build your dreams or even find new ones in science, technology, engineering, and math. Each week, hear captivating stories and interviews to explore the exciting world of STEM. Oh, and grown-ups and teachers, you can listen too. We'll talk to experts in STEM who are passionate about what they do in the real world and how they make a positive impact in their careers. Created and hosted by K-5 STEM coach Naomi Meredith, this show will spark your imagination and passions. Join us each week on our quest to explore the possibilities of careers in STEM, one episode at a time. The STEM career we're going to be hearing about today is what it is like being a science teacher. In this career, science teachers teach students important science topics through research experiments and field trips. To tell us all about it, we will be meeting our special guest, Kayla Norville. Kayla has a lot of experience being a science teacher. She has taught students from all ages, including college students, teachers in her building, and her favorite, middle school students. Middle school grades are the ones that come after elementary school, typically 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. Kayla is really passionate about what she teaches, and she will make you feel like you are one of her students in her class. So excited for you to get to know Kayla and her STEM career. Now, get ready for today's episode quest, my lovely questies. As you listen, find out the answers to these 3 questions. At the end of the episode, I will be revealing the answers. Question number 1, true or false? Kayla wears a lab coat and safety goggles on her first day of school with students. Question number 2, what were the living things that Kayla and her students investigated for an experiment? And question number 3, who would Kayla teach when she was a kid? Be a careful listener. Now let's go embark on today's STEM Career Quest. Well, thank you, Kayla, so much for being here. I'm so excited for you to share your experience about your cool STEM career. Could you tell us, what is your STEM career and how would you describe what you do?
I am a science teacher, and I have the opportunity to teach wonderful middle school students science all day long, and it's the best.
That is so amazing. And for kids who don't know what middle school is, what is the difference between middle school and elementary? It might be a little bit confusing.
So elementary school around here is kindergarten through 5th grade, and I teach 6th through 8th grade.
Awesome. That's so exciting. What would you say is the coolest part about your job being a science teacher?
I would have to say I get to learn science and do science all day long. I mean, it is the best. It really and truly is, because whatever I am teaching to my wonderful students, I'm able to do myself. So if we're ever doing anything fun with chemicals or dissecting something, I get to do it. We have a ball. We do. And also just, even if I've experienced this science experiment before, seeing the kids discover it is just an amazing thing.
Do you wear like a lab coat or anything as a science
Yes.
teacher?
Yes, I do. 100%. I think the first day of school, I'm constantly just putting on my lab coat just for fun. And I have these pink safety goggles too that just go rock around the school with my lab coat on.
That is so cool. Do you ever get to make up your own lessons and teach those science lessons to the kids?
Yes, I do. That's one of the best parts of the job is really being able to show my creativity and also looking up things that I may have not done before to share with the students as well.
3 things about face mites you may or may not already know. On most human faces, we have tiny little hairs that look a lot like peach fuzz. If you look very carefully at those hairs under a microscope, you will be able to find demodex, also known as eyelash mites, that live on our face. Don't worry, this is completely normal. These mites are considered arachnids, and they have 8 legs, just like spiders or ticks. Humans aren't born with these mites. They are given to you most likely from your parents when you were a baby. Even though you might be a little bit scared of these mites on your face, they are actually not a problem and keep your skin healthy. During the day, they sleep in the bottom of your hairs or follicles and eat the natural oil that's in that area. At night, they crawl up and around and meet their other mite friends and eventually have baby mites. For some reason, having these mites on our face as humans somehow works. Did you know these 3 things about face mites? Pretty cool or gross, right? Loving the STEM Career Quest podcast and want more? Join the STEM Career Quest Club, perfect for teachers, homeschool parents, or families looking to add more educational opportunities during school breaks. Inside, you get access to a private community of other STEM Career Quest listeners, comprehension guides for each episode, teaching slides for each episode where it is broken up into chunks so you can listen in smaller segments, related STEM activities you can complete with simple materials, 1 monthly virtual STEM field trip, and more. Join the club at stemcareerquestpodcast.com/club. That is awesome. Okay, so it might be hard to pick out of all the things, but do you have a cool lesson that you've taught or something funny or shocking that happened? Because our kids here, they go to school and you might not always realize all these crazy things that happen as a teacher behind the scenes. Is there a fun story you want to share with us?
Actually, there is. Now, there are a lot of cool things, but one that comes to mind is when I think it was in my 4th year of teaching, I worked with a scientist who was studying demodex mites, which are face mites that almost everyone has.
Really?
Yes. So it was in a collaboration with a local museum and working with a scientist. And we actually come up with an experiment, like a real life experiment where we wanted to determine whether my students had mites on their face or not. So it was really, really cool. So what we did to find out if we had mites, we did test for DNA, but these are the adults. We would take a microscope slide, which is a rectangular piece of glass, and put super glue on it. And I will not recommend that any children listening to this podcast right now do that. But we would take super glue slide, stick it to our face for a while and peel it off. And we could look under the microscope and find these little mites. And they're just moving around. little
Little
bite.
bugs?
Yes, in your face.
Wait, what are they doing on her face?
I think they're still trying to figure that out. I've been looking at, because it's been about 4 years since we did this in my classroom. But I think there may be some links to like some like facial like issues, but I think everyone has them. So maybe it depends on the amount that live on your face,
No
but they're
way.
just hanging out in our pores and they come out at nighttime.
No way.
Yes, way.
Oh my gosh. And see, you being a teacher, you got to do the experiment and figure
Yes.
it out.
Yes. And so when we did it in the classroom, we did not super glue any children's faces. They were able to swab their faces and we were able to send it off to the museum where the scientist worked. And he tested that data and he come back to the class and talked to them. And actually we found out that, or the data showed that not everyone had this mite DNA on their face, but we were able to talk about things because he said that he thinks that most kids have them, just like most adults do, but maybe there were some errors in the way we swabbed and things of that sort. So we were able to kind of discuss those things that could have went wrong.
Oh my gosh, that is
Mhm.
crazy. And you did experiments and kind of cool things like this all the time being a science teacher. So that's pretty
Yes.
awesome.
Mhm. Lots of fun.
What experiences in your life led you to this career of being a science teacher?
So really, I think it's always been a passion. I've always loved science, always loved science. And I don't know what I could say on the podcast, but I'm a Christian and I believe that there is a creator that made all these wonderful things. And I just have been always ready to explore what the creation was. And then just I guess I just have a teacher heart because I would teach my stuffed animals. I would teach my little sisters. I would tell all kinds of things. And I just have always been that way. Education and science have always been my passions.
Did you know going into college that you wanted to be a teacher?
I did. I did. And it took me a while to I would say it took me a while to make that decision because I looked at other careers, but just my heart just kept going there. And I will say in high school, I had a biology teacher. She was my AQ biology teacher. And that was just kind of the final thing. She was just so inspirational. I learned so much. We did labs all day in her class and it was a blast. I'm like, yes, this is what I want to do.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. Way to go, biology teacher.
Yes.
So in terms of other kids out there who might be interested in the same career, what advice do you have for kids who want to be a science teacher?
I would say keep learning. I mean, you're in school now. If you find a subject like science that you're interested in, dive in. I used to actually take my science book home and read it because, I mean, if you're passionate about something, you just want to learn more about it. So just keep learning. Try new things. There's lots of different experiment books that you can get for kids and you could try different things. Just keep doing it. Do experiments, learn more, and have fun doing it.
That's excellent advice. Well, we might have some budding science teachers out there. We never know. Thank you so much, Kayla.
No problem. Thank you.
Hope you have been listening carefully to today's episode. We are now going to reveal the answers to the episode quest. Question number 1 was, true or false? Kayla wears a lab coat and safety goggles on her first day of school with students. True. When you teach in a science lab, sometimes you need to get dressed up for safety, and it's also a little bit fun. Question number 2 was, what were one of the living things that Kayla and her students investigated for an experiment? Well, it's a little bit gross and scary, but they investigated mites that live on your face. And question number 3 was, who did Kayla teach when she was a kid? Her stuffed animals, much like me when I was a kid as well. If you need help following along with these questions and more, I invite you to become a member of our STEM Career Quest Club, where there are listening comprehension guides to every single episode, activities that you can complete that are lots of fun, and even virtual on-demand STEM field trips where you get to hang out with me for an hour and learn some more bonus content. Hope to see you there and become an ultimate STEM questie. Loving the STEM Career Quest podcast? Want to be featured on the show? Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and tell us what you love about it. Maybe you'll be featured on our next episode. What is something new that you learned today about being a science teacher? Is this a type of STEM career that you want to explore more? Even if it isn't, it's always great to learn new things from new people and discover more about the world around you. Excited for you to continue your journey on the next episode of the STEM Career Quest. See you there. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the STEM Career Quest podcast. Grab your free episode badge, connect with today's guests, follow us on social media, join the club, and more. Find it all on our website at stemcareerquestpodcast.com.